go. What up? It's Fantasy Blitz.
And we're back.
No BS, just Blitz. It's week 3.
Yeah. And what a couple of weeks it has been.
Of the uneventful NFL. Another edition. Yeah.
It has been uneventful as far as like really fun stuff, but extremely eventful as far as really not fun stuff. We talked about Nick Chubb on Tuesday. He's gone for the season, potentially career, with a completely jacked up leg. That thing, I don't know if you saw the video. Do not watch it. Very bad.
It's yucky.
Yeah.
Let's just say there are 90-degree angles that should not be physically possible.
And we're going to go over here in a second some of the injury news. It's extra long this week, and I actually had to go in and trim off a ton of players. So I went with the ones that I thought were really, I went with the ones that are like really, I thought were important, or people might have questions about, or the guys that were like out. But there's a ton of guys that I'm not going to mention just because there's so many. So definitely keep an eye on your players that are questionable. Some of them are looking good. Some of them are not looking good. But we'll touch on a couple here in a minute.
We've got a packed show today.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about. We're going to go over our league and how I'm continually getting punked in our league.
Yeah, let's start off on a good note. Let's start that one first.
Oh my God.
Let's take a look at this.
All right, hang on. Let me pull up the source. Let me pull up all this stuff. This sucks. All right. So let's see here. There we go. And then look at this. There we go. So week 1, again, I had a bad showing. Ben Owens did good. Adam did good, crushed it. The problem with Adam is in week 2, he basically had the same score.
Almost the exact same score.
Which is very
nuts.
bullish for Adam.
That's nuts.
I just want to, I'm not going to make excuses for my team, but I'm going to make some excuses for my team.
Oh, we played each other.
Yeah, we did play each
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, you beat me.
Wow, cool.
So Trevor Lawrence did not show up. The Kansas City game, which we thought was going to be a shootout, did not happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was the issue with that? Why did that just burn out?
He was just not on the same page as, Calvin Ridley had like 3 or 4 targets. And the week before, he had like 10, and he was crazy. But Christian Kirk had like 8 or 9 targets and over 100 yards. Something was weird. I think they get back on track. That should have been a really good matchup.
Kansas City scored 17 points. Is the Jacksonville defense that good? I didn't think so.
No, it was just a bad game. I just think that they were both out of sync. I think we see them, turn it around.
Miles Sanders, shit the bed.
Yeah, tough defensive matchup.
Which was tough. The rest of my team did pretty good. It's just when your QB doesn't score in the double digits, you're going to have a hard time.
Huge disadvantage.
Jalen Hurts for you had a really good, decent showing. I wouldn't say he went off, but
25.
That's great.
That's perfect. I'm good with that.
8 points for your streaming flex.
Not bad.
You son of a bitch.
Christian Watson, please come back.
Yeah,
please.
But Evan Ingram, as your tight end, did really well. We've been telling you about Evan Ingram. He's great.
Really solid, consistent tight end, 4-ish. I think right now we're at Kelsey, Mark Andrews, T.J. Hawkinson. Then you can make an argument for Evan Ingram.
Yeah. Let's look at the rest of the team. How did LFG beat Mason Burton?
Yep.
Nick's girlfriend's husband.
Coin operator putting up 145.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Joel.
Yeah, that's the high score.
Yeah.
High score. Shout out Joel. And then Scully squeaking out over Tunsil's gas mask. I gotta say, our league, the Fantasy Blitz League is very competitive.
Yeah.
No one's getting blown out unless someone is blowing out.
Unless it was me blowing out, unfortunately, Joseph Pellin.
Yeah, and coin operator.
Yeah.
These guys are blowing up, but no one's getting blown out. Guys, this just shows how good Adam and I are at our jobs. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
Yeah, we're here for you. Let's get into things that are really interesting, which is this board.
The board.
The smart board.
Unfortunately, we don't start with anything fun.
Oh, no. Oh. I think you just got to swipe.
Oh, I messed it up.
Your fingers.
There we go.
Oh, God.
Okay. Injury updates all over the place. We talked about Nick Chubb. Sorry, he's probably done for a very long time. Saquon Barkley, ankle busted up. Something happened there. He's not going to be playing this weekend. I don't think we see him for another 2, maybe 3 weeks. I think it's a possibility he goes on IR. I don't think they'll do IR, but I think he's out for a couple of weeks. Brandon Ayuk has been slightly on and off with a shoulder injury. It sounds good as far as him playing in week 3. still something to keep an eye on, but that would be a really tough loss if he wasn't able to play. Yep. Anthony Richardson has a concussion. He is probably not going to play, at least as of early Thursday. He's not going to play. We could be seeing some things change, but right now he's not really trending that way.
So it's my understanding that when there's no dudes days for QBs really. Like
right.
QBs are going to practice if they're healthy, no matter what.
Yes,
okay.
and he's a rookie, so they don't really get their dudes day yet.
Okay.
That's usually for like year 3, 4, 5, those kind of guys. But nevertheless, can you run the next one for me?
Yep.
This one, OBJ, I put this one in there. Nobody really cares, but this is funny because he's never healthy, and we've been telling people he's never healthy. Stop drafting him. And guess what? Ankle injury. What's new?
Yep. OBJ is the OBJ of wide receivers when it comes to injuries. He's the Saquon Barkley.
Man, him and Michael Thomas. I'm giving Michael Thomas 2 more weeks before that dude's done.
Son of a...
We'll see. I've actually heard good things about him, like health-wise. Derrick Henry came up with a toe injury. Some people are saying turf toe. He's not. It's fine. He'll be good to go. Still keep your Tyjae Spears on the bench. That could be really handy. Joe Burrow, maybe not so fine with a calf injury. They're being really hush-hush about it. He was at practice today, Thursday, and they're like kind of trying to make it look like he's going to play, but I really can't see it happening.
No.
And if he does play, probably not a good idea.
Who are they up against? Let's see.
Bengals are playing.
Bengals.
Oh man.
Are playing. Oh, the Chargers.
No, Rams.
Rams. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rams.
Bengals. Rams.
Their logos
Monday Night
look so
Football.
freaking similar.
They do.
Yeah,
and
the
same
Rams,
city too.
So yeah, Aaron Donald. They're not going to put JB in against Aaron Donald
Probably,
unless they absolutely have to.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Doubtful. Amon-Ra St. Brown, another really big name, who is also having a toe injury. They're also being really weird about him. I think he's trending in the right direction towards playing. I really hope he does. But he's not been practicing. He does get dude's day, though, but he's not practicing, and I don't think they're going to have him practice all week, but they're also being optimistic about it, so I think we're okay.
Okay.
And I think that's it for the ones that I've got on there. Now we're into the starts and sits.
Oh, boy.
This is where I'm going to try and go quickly with these because there's a lot of information going on here. Tons of games. Starting off with New York Giants versus 49ers. This one, like we're all expecting, should be a bit of a wash. I think 49ers carry this one. You can maybe start Darren Waller because somebody's got to catch the ball over there.
Yeah.
And he's a tight end, a little bit easier to start them. Literally no one else. If Saquon Barkley plays, do not play Matt Breida. I hate that matchup this week. One of the worst possible ones. Angelo says Aaron Jones practiced today. He did, yes. It was limited, but he's practicing. Christian Watson also was at practice, but apparently didn't practice. And then Matt LaFleur said he's okay, there's no setback. So just keep an eye on that. Anyways, on San Francisco side, however, it's the exact opposite. You can start basically anyone and be just fine. Like Debo is going to go crazy. If Ayuk plays, he'll be good. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the number 1 asset in fantasy football right now. George Kittle should be fine. He's not been super great this year, but he should be fine. And then everybody else, I don't really want to start Brock Purdy right now. He's been like good in a football sense, but not really good in a fantasy sense. So just keep an eye on that. He could be really good in the future. But
I had someone ask me today in a daily fantasy league, if all they had to spend was money on Lamar or Purdy in this game, I said go with Purdy.
I would say Lamar just because Lamar has just insane upside with his rushing ability. Purdy is very safe. I think he's a very safe QB to play. Like if you need yourself 15 to 20 points, Purdy can probably get you that. But if you need like big money points, I would roll with Lamar. Moving on. Sweet. Atlanta, Detroit. This could actually be kind of a sleeper fun game because they're both not bad teams and they like to do a lot of weird stuff when they play. I think as of last week, you can now continue starting Drake London. Everybody breathe a sigh of relief. He's not bad.
I'm going to bench him just out of spite.
Obviously, you can start Bijan Robinson. He's been insane recently. And here's the kicker, or a tight end. I think you have to start Pitts. I think you give him one more week.
He did.
You know that meme that's like, I need you to give me one more day, not a week, not a month, just one more day. That's what I think you need to do with Kyle Pitts right now. Just give him one more try.
How did he do?
Bad.
He did bad.
I think he had like a couple of maybe 2 catches.
Is ESPN going to screw me on this thing? Yeah, of course it is. Of course.
I just don't. I know people drafted him really high, and tight end is so funky. Oh man, on the year he has 4 for 59.
Gee whiz.
2 catches a game for
3
about
targets.
Yeah. So I think just give him one more shot, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not looking good. We'll see. Try him again. Detroit, though, if Amon-Ra plays, you're starting him. He's going to have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs should be having more touches now that Montgomery's not going to be playing. He's very talented. I would love to see him go off. I think you can start Goff. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Be careful with Goff. If you really need a safe play, probably don't roll with Goff. Mm-hmm. He's got crazy upside this week, but I would be cautious. And then a fun one is Sam Laporta.
He balled out.
Yeah, he's a very good streaming option, and I think if you're somebody that has Kyle Pitts, having Sam Laporta on your bench, maybe as a fill-in, is like really helpful.
I mean, homeboy he's got 102 yards for the year.
Yeah, I mean, 5 catches for 60 and 5 for 40. That's perfectly fine.
Serviceable tight end numbers.
Those will get you a couple points, and then you can walk out of there not feeling like crap at tight end.
Yep.
What we got next?
Let's see.
New Orleans, Green Bay. This could be a slow game because both of them have pretty stout defenses.
Yep.
New Orleans defense in particular has been incredible recently. Like I'm a Green Bay fan. I'm a little scared of this game. That being said, you're starting Olave. He's a stud. You're starting Michael Thomas. He's been pretty good. And I think you can start Kendre Miller. I think this week is the week that you could put him in, and maybe it's a scary start, but you can maybe see him get some work because Jamal Williams is hurt. Alvin Kamara is still suspended. So they really have Tony Jones Jr., practice squad guy, and Kendre Miller. I think they have to give Kendre Miller some looks now. So we'll see. I think that could be a sneaky start. Green Bay has a really bad run defense. He hasn't played yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a rookie running back, going to be playing. I'm surprised you don't have Shaheed in here.
Here's the thing with the Packers have a very, very good pass defense. They got pretty good safeties. I mean, they have Jair Alexander. I'm not super comfortable starting any of the wide receivers. Olave's a stud, so I think you can get him, and Michael Thomas is Michael Thomas, so he's probably good enough. Shaheed is he could have one long touchdown. I just don't think that he's going to be super productive right now. Maybe in a couple weeks when he really starts getting that chemistry with Derek Carr going. I don't know.
We got some Saints fans in the chat.
Yeah.
Tony Jean-Claude.
Who dat?
This video randomly popped up in my recommended, but keep the grind going, y'all. I love the fact that I hopped in right when you're talking about my Saints. Hashtag who dat.
Let's go. On the Green Bay side of the things, if Christian Watson plays, I would play him. Aaron Jones is starting to look like he's going to play. I put please because we really need him back. It looks like he's going to be playing again, just based on his practice and stuff. That would be awesome. Everybody else you can sit.
No Jordan Love.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
no Jordan Love this week just because New Orleans is a really good defense.
They're very good defense.
I would be worried about it. And I know Jordan Love has been top 3 fantasy quarterback right now, top 5 fantasy quarterback right now, which is insane, and I love that as a Packers fan. But this is not quite the matchup to do it.
No.
I would keep him out on this one.
No, and yeah, this is going to be a pretty consequential game just to see if New Orleans is going to continue to be as hot as they are. Because, to be perfectly honest, Derek Carr been throwing some trash passes.
Yeah, he looked real bad against Carolina, which is why I'm a little worried about this because Green Bay has such a good secondary. I think we could see a 2 to 3 interception game out of Derek Carr anytime now.
Yep.
We'll see. He says Christian Watson's still out for the Packers too, which is right. However, he was practicing for most of the week this week, limited. And then LaFleur, I believe, said today that he had no setbacks. I could see them holding him out still. I haven't heard anything yet, but still, we haven't had him all year. And the Packers put up 38 on week 1. So I don't think we need him too bad. Aaron Jones we need. So love to see him back. Moving on, Denver versus Miami. This is a bad one for Denver. I don't really like anyone on this team. I don't like Cortland Sutton. I don't like Jerry Jeudy. I don't like Marvin Mims this week. Javonte Williams, pretty much the only guy that you're going to get anything out of. I think maybe you see a long touchdown out of one of the other receivers, and you're like, oh, great.
This is gonna be
I happen
so
to start
bad.
him, but that's a lottery ticket at this point.
This is going to be so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver and Miami, they usually have some lead in their shoes when they do that as well. So keep that in mind because they're the mountain team in Mile High Stadium where it's nice and dry, and they're going to Miami in September, and it's going to be hot as fuck.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. I would not start any Denver. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Until further notice, don't start any Denver player. Until we say on Fantasy Blitz it is verified that they're good.
Yeah. I think the Javonte Williams thing for me is like you probably drafted him decently high, and he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been super great, but he hasn't been bad. I think you're okay rolling him out. Miami doesn't have a great run defense.
Sorry, Russ. Change on Claude. Okay, look.
Nope.
Hang on. We got to talk about this for a second.
All right.
Are the Broncos cooked?
I think Russ is cooked. The Broncos.
Russ is cooked.
Yeah, I think the Broncos have talent.
Yeah.
And they have the players, but it just seems like they just don't have a lot of. It's weird to say, they don't have a lot of heart right now.
No.
Like they don't have. You watch them play, and they're like, man, these guys don't even want to be here.
I feel like the Broncos are now an LLC, and everyone's just there collecting their paychecks.
Right.
Because they thought Sean Payton was going to come in and change the culture, and he hasn't because Russell Wilson is done. Like, just seeing the Manning cast
They were ragging
for
on
the
him,
Broncos
man.
game, oh my God, like Peyton Manning was losing his mind.
Yeah.
There's no, like...
Russ is just not himself
He's
anymore.
just not commanding the field. He's throwing stupid passes. He's not calling timeouts. It's just hard to watch. And like, who's the backup? Who do they have at the Broncos? Like they're done.
Teddy Bridgewater?
Let's look at their depth
No,
chart.
Bridgewater's on the Lions now.
Jarrett Steedham.
Ooh.
Guys,
Yeah, no.
do not play any Bronco until further notice.
Yep. Maybe Javonte Williams. Maybe.
Until further notice.
Yeah. Miami, though, hot offense. They
Take
look
for
good.
Caleb.
Yeah, honestly. Tyreek Hill, I don't need to tell you to do that. Jalen Waddle, don't really need to tell you to do that. I know he was questionable, but I think he's going to be playing. Raheem Mostert has looked pretty good. I think he'll be fine. I could see them getting up big and then just handing the ball off for 50 times. And then Tua, another guy. I mean, I think he's just going to, he does what Tua does, and he steps back and airs it out 50 yards and just says, Tyreek's there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let it happen. So we'll
This
see.
horse is going into the swamp, and it's going to be like that same horse from the Neverending Story that dies.
Yep,
It is going to be
Atreyu.
Atreyu. Yeah, it is going to be an absolute non-consensual bukkake fest in Miami. Watch out, Chili Rainbow. What's up? Hey guys, coin operator. I won the league this week after losing hard last week, but Chubb, I'm struggling for running backs. Do you think Alvin Kamara will start next week?
So
after
no.
suspension?
I think after suspension. He had a 3-game suspension, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's
I do think, I think he's going to start. However, I do think that
Soft launch.
he's going to be pretty, they're going to ease him in, I think. Just because they have decent running backs. So there's no real rush, and they're 2-0, right?
Yeah.
So they're not hurting.
I want to look at the Saints' schedule because this is going to be very indicative of their performance. Let's go look at this right here. Okay. Schedule. So they got Green Bay right now this week. Then they have Tampa Bay. Then they have New England. Bro,
Houston,
the Houston
Jacksonville.
game.
Look at this next lineup. They have a juicy lineup coming up. Houston, Jacksonville, Colts, Bears, Vikings, Falcons, Detroit. I mean, Carolina, New York. I mean, they have a span right there of some matchups that should be getting
Their
you all some
division is on
points.
lock. Weren't they the second easiest schedule?
Almost every besides the Panthers, they're all 2-0.
The Panthers
Or 0-2.
I know they're 0-2, as they should be. But yeah, I mean, the Saints, they're the best in their division by a long shot.
I think so too. Let's talk about Chargers and Minnesota because this is going to be a fun game. Please, everybody, watch this game. This could be the battle of the really, really bad defenses with really hot offenses. I think these guys are just like button heads the whole game. Really excited for it.
Oh, yeah. Bruiser match.
You're starting Keenan Allen. He looked great last week, a couple hundred yards. Not multiple, but 100-something yards. Mike Williams, I think, could have a really fun one, too. He looks good. He looks athletic. Whoever is at running back right now, I don't think Austin Eckler is going to play. No. So if he's not playing, then
he's still out.
You're starting you are starting Josh Kelly, right? Yeah, Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
So that could be fun. I mean, I think he'll get work. You're starting Justin Herbert. He could go off this week. Like, I'm talking 400 yards, 3 touchdowns this week. because both these teams are going to be scoring left and right.
Yep.
Jefferson's going to have an insane game. Hawkinson's going to have an insane game. You can see Addison with a long touchdown. Kirk Cousins is probably going to put up 35 points in fantasy points this week. Like, it's going to be, I mean, I know this year has been pretty crazy as far as matchups go, but I mean, I would put a lot on this game being hot, like real hot. Very excited. We'll talk about that in the props at the end of the video.
Oh, trash game?
It's time. Trash game alert.
All right, before we get into that, we got some questions here.
All right, sweet.
Camaro on my bench, but I wasn't sure how much work he would get. Yeah, he'll be great.
Yep.
Like week 5 or 6.
It might take him a little bit of time to get in, but he'll be good.
Would you trade Chase and Mike Williams for Diggs in PPR?
Nope, I wouldn't. I think Jamar Chase steps it up a little bit. They just need Burrow back and healthy. I really think we'll talk about this when we get to Cincinnati's matchup, but I think Jamar Chase is such an obvious buy low right now that nobody should be selling him. Like, everybody knows he's a buy low, so nobody should be selling him. We'll talk about that when we get there. Should I trade for Akers? I have Madison. No, I don't like anybody in that backfield anymore. Madison kind of sucks. Akers
sucks.
He
too.
sucks, but we'll see. They could have, both of them could run a lot against the Chargers. We'll see. Trash game alert, though.
I love it.
Boom.
Oh my God. Good call.
Yeah.
Good
This is a
call.
stinker. New England versus the Jets.
Gee
The Jets
whiz.
now handicapped. No more Aaron Rodgers. Brees Hall is banged up. Zach Wilson looks like Zach Wilson. And now you have the Patriots coming into town, and they have Mac Jones, who's not great, and no real receivers. They just have Ramondre. So I think this is the Ramondre show tonight, or not tonight, that game. I think it's an evening, maybe afternoon game.
Probably Monday afternoon. If the
Or
NFL's
something like that. Doesn't really matter too much. But Stevenson, obviously you're playing Stevenson. And then also you're starting Garrett Wilson and you're starting Brees Hall. I'm not really worried about Brees Hall's injury. I just think this is a yucky game, and I'm sorry if you have to start these guys. Really.
Yep.
Anyways, out of that,
Oh yeah,
halfway
you should probably
through.
do this. Yeah, you should probably like and subscribe. We're here delivering content quite often, actually. Did a little defensive update last night. So
sweet. Yeah,
You know-
I did see that. That's awesome.
let me know what you think about that. I tend to work backwards from defenses, like who sucks, who can I play against this sucky defense, blah 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 blah. Anyways,
Yeah.
we have our Tuesday waiver wire grabs show, and this, of course, is our Thursday starts and sits. We may do a little weekend show with researcher Eli, let him out of the box a little bit.
Yep.
So
He's going to be stepping in next week also, while you're out of town.
while I'm out of town, I may do a call-in too,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to have Eli stand right here.
That'd be
and
awesome.
Deliver the alpha. But
So
yeah,
we might be bringing in a new guy.
comment below on what else you want us to cover here on Fantasy Blitz. We're growing steadily but slowly. Also, click the share button and share this on Facebook. Send it to your text thread with all your other fantasy football buddies. Help us just grow the channel a little bit.
Yes.
We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the season. I think we could do it.
Yeah, I think we could.
Yeah.
We just need a little traction, so just let us know. Sub would be awesome. Notifications is great because we go live and our schedule isn't super set yet.
Nope.
So the times are a little varying, which means if you have the notifications turned on, you're not going to miss it, which is really helpful because we put a lot of research into these games and a lot of stuff is going into it. So it does help knowing when we're going to go, and so you don't miss it.
I wear these 70s knit shirts every Thursday for this show.
Yep.
This is part of my elite garb.
Don't want to miss that.
Someone said, are you guys Ford truthers?
So we'll talk about that because it's coming, and I have stuff that we can talk about here. But first, Buffalo, Washington. This could be a stinker, but it could also be, I think it'll just be a middle of the road game. None of these teams have really impressed me too much.
Yeah.
You're obviously starting Diggs and Josh Allen. I think James Cook is going to be a fine play. He's been really talented. And then you're obviously starting McLaurin. Brian Robinson has looked pretty good. I don't really love him, but he's been getting the work, so keep rolling him out. I think we can give Jahan Dotson one more week. I know he's been sort of disappointing, but he's just so talented. I think let's give him one more. This is a tough defense, so it's not the best matchup, but I think if we give him one more shot, he could pull it out.
What about Gabe Davis?
The Gabe Davis thing, I never recommend starting him because he is such a boom or bust guy. 4 targets for 2 catches, or 7 targets for 6 catches, 92 yards and a touchdown. That is as boom as bust as it gets. And so I never, unless you don't really have many other options, or unless you really need a big week out of somebody, I'm not going to roll out Gabe Davis.
But the Commanders' defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not bad at
so
all.
I don't think there's a lot of upside to Gabe
No.
Davis. Like, if you're desperate, hold him for those bad matchups when he's going against a bad pass defense.
Yeah.
That's when you want to do a Gabe Davis flyer in the flex
And,
because he has more upside.
You see it maybe twice a game. He just runs a post and Josh Allen just chucks it up. Whether he catches it or not really determines if he has a good game or not. So,
Annoying.
keep an eye on that.
Annoying.
Next up, we got Houston and Jacksonville. This could be a yucky one. Neither of these teams look really good. However,
Nico
Collins looks pretty good.
Nico Collins looks
And
very
C.J.
good.
Stroud is airing that thing out. So I think both, I would have suggested starting Tank Dell also. He's been kind of banged up, so I kind of backed off on that. Nico Collins, though, let's go. Let's go. I'm riding him out, man. He's been a top, as far as yards right now, he's top 5.
Yep.
I mean, it's like Tyreek, Justin Jefferson,
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua, somebody else, I don't remember, and then Nico Collins.
CeeDee Lamb, I think.
So yeah, somebody like that, and then Nico Collins. Like, oh, awesome, great. I'm rolling him out.
'Cause it helps to be the only talented person on an NFL team, and
Yes.
he is that guy.
And they have that chemistry. Like him and C.J. Stroud already have that chemistry. I
Just
love
the
it.
absolute
Yeah, he says
desperation.
Robert Woods.
Look, he gets targets,
I
though.
know, but
he
they
gets
are-
consistent targets.
But they are ugly routes.
They are
man.
gross
They're
routes.
ugly routes. They're short. He's not getting red zone looks. Nico Collins is getting mad red zone looks, and he looks like Mike Williams when he gets down there. Like he's going up and doing all this stuff.
For standard scoring, Robert Woods is a no. For PPR, Robert Woods is a desperation flex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Damian Pierce. This one really hurt
That hurts.
me.
We were so bullish on him.
I know, and I still am. The reason is there's a great Reddit post of a Texans fan that was like really in depth on their offensive line, and he was like, "We have third and fourth stringers in the Texans' offensive line right now," which is awful, and that explains that because Damian Pierce is so talented, but behind that terrible line, like we're talking about guys off the street, like
Really?
blocking for him. I mean, they are like practice squad guys.
The streets in Houston are rough.
And then, so he's super talented, but he just doesn't have it yet. However, look at week 4 and 5 and 6 for those starters to start coming back, and that offensive line gets better, which means the Texans are going to look a lot better, meaning Damian Pierce has more opportunities and a little bit better opportunities, and C.J. Stroud has more time to throw, which boosts Nico Collins. I mean, we need those guys back.
Trayvon Diggs out for the season.
Oh, what?
Breaking
Oh,
news.
man.
Thank you, chat. Ian Rappaport, here you go. We'll give credit
Trayvon
where
Diggs
credit
out
is
for
due.
the season. That hurts Dallas defense a lot. Not
does.
that much, but a lot. He's, wow.
Yeah.
That
that's
hurts.
That's a big deal. So what's their? Who are they playing?
They're playing Arizona this week. No worries there.
Okay, yeah,
They
you're
could,
fine.
Dallas could start all their backups and they'd be fine.
Sheesh. Well, shout out to Ian Rappaport. Come on the show whenever you want.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's big news.
Wow,
That's
thanks for
big
cluing
news.
us in on there. We do a lot of this research before like 1 o'clock today. I try and push it as far as I can, but I have other things to do, so
Yep.
I do a lot of this research and then I
Chat
throw
is
it in.
undefeated. We
Right.
appreciate you, chat.
Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Adam couldn't persuade anyone for a tight end trade with Mostert and another high-end trade. Who would you suggest a replacement for a tight end? If you have Njoku, my first replacement is Ferguson for the Cowboys.
Okay, yeah.
He has, ready for this, this is a crazy stat. He has the most red zone targets of any player. Any player. I don't know if we can check that,
I'll look
but
at it.
red zone targets are huge.
Jake Ferguson?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Jake Ferguson. He only has one receiving touchdown because he's, a rookie, but he's, 7 targets, 2 catches, and 11 yards. That doesn't sound like it much, but the targets are in the red zone. Like he has his touchdown, and he is a guy that you can go out
Against the
and-
Cardinals?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, as far
Sounds
as
good
like
to
a
me.
streamer, or if you get really screwed at tight end and there's nobody else, I would start Njoku over him probably, but I like Ferguson. He's my top recommendation for if you really need somebody, him and like Sam Laporta, like try them out, give them a shot. Back to the thing, Jacksonville, you're starting Ridley and you're starting Etienne. I don't need to tell you that. They're really good. I think based on what we saw last week from Christian Kirk, him and Trevor Lawrence are maybe back on the same page. And if they are, you can't pass that up. He put up 7 catches for like 120 yards last week, which is awesome. He's a slot guy. Those are going to be valuable targets. We'll see. I'm rolling him out again. Not starting anybody else. I don't like their tight end situation. I don't like any of the other receivers. Zay Jones, not good. Next, did we skip 2 there? No, we're good. Sorry. Go ahead. Colts and Ravens. For the Colts, Anthony Richardson has been really fun to watch. He looks like Lamar to me, to be honest. However, it's not looking like he's going to be playing, but we'll see. If he does play, I think he could be a fun streaming option, or maybe you have Burrow or something, then you need somebody to fill in. Richardson is a fun option. He can get you a couple of decent rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then Michael Pittman, you're still playing him. He's just really talented, and he's like the only receiver they have. I'd be okay with him. And Zach Moss, if he's playing, I know he's kind of banged up. He got 100% of the carries last time he played.
Oh, wow.
100% of the running back touches. It's crazy.
It's going to be tough, though, because Baltimore has a stout run defense.
They do. But 100% of the touches, I mean.
Yeah. If he's your only guy, you play him.
Yeah.
In that case, if he's your stud, you got to start your studs. But if you've got any flexibility, remember this matchup here, he's probably going to not get he'll get 100% of 63 yards.
So Tony says, Zach Moss, sell high. Yep. If you can trade out Zach Moss, love it. Love it. I don't think he's a great running back in the first place, but he's getting a lot of work right now. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor plays this year. Maybe he comes back and plays, but that situation's sticky.
I think Jonathan Taylor's overhyped, especially for PPR.
Yeah.
So until Jonathan Taylor comes back and proves himself, does that mean you sell high and pick up JT right now? I'd say there's more upside to JT.
Yeah. I would target a guy like maybe Breece Hall.
Really?
So the guys who have Breece Hall are like, man, he's kind of banged up. He didn't get a lot of touches last week. They were playing Dallas. Everybody remember, they were playing the Cowboys. The worst matchup you can think of. And the guys who own Breece Hall probably aren't super excited about it. Michael Carter just went down. That's their only other guy. They have Dalvin Cook, who has looked like trash and has been getting banged up a little bit. I think Breece Hall, I would gladly take that trade. I know Zach Moss is getting work, but I like Breece Hall. He's way more talented than Dalvin Cook is right now. Dalvin Cook looks bad. For Baltimore side of things, back to this game, Baltimore, you're starting Lamar Jackson. Don't have to tell you that. And you're starting Mark Andrews. Don't have to tell you that. I know the RB room is now weird because J.K. Dobbins is out for the season. They have like Gus Edwards and Justice Hill.
No. If anything, it's Gus Edwards is going to be the guy, but still, that's dicey.
I traded Mostert and Brian Robinson for Eckler. Ooh, that's a W. Love that. Sit everybody else.
Welcome to Fantasy Blitz, you win.
Yeah, I'm not starting any Baltimore wide receiver right now. I just think that they're just spreading it around. If he's not Mark Andrews, Mark Andrews, his first week back, he led the team in targets.
Which Zay is on the Ravens?
Zay Flowers, yeah. He's a potential, but
that's the one to keep an eye on.
Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and whoever, there's Devin Duvernay, I think, is still there.
Yeah. Nope.
I don't like it. We'll see.
Yucky.
Carolina, Seattle could be a gross game also.
Blowout. It's going to be an absolute blowout. They're going to get their shit packed in.
That being said, Seattle, one of the, if not the worst run defense in the league. I think the Chargers are worse than them, but they have a really bad run defense. Miles Sanders is getting a ton of work on the ground. And they have Andy Dalton in there now instead of
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, yep. So that, I think, is a positive. Honestly, Bryce Young has looked really bad.
Oh, terrible.
And so I think Miles Sanders could be getting
Not Russell Wilson bad.
No.
But still pretty bad.
Bad. I think Miles Sanders could be getting a lot of work, and against that defense, you got to try him out. You have to keep him going.
I hate to bring up old wounds, but what's the over-under, the probability of Sean Payton benching Russell Wilson this year?
I don't think it happens.
Really?
Just name value and his first year as a coach, like, unless Russ starts throwing a bunch of picks and a bunch of, like, if he's, like, actively hurting the team. The thing is, he's not hurting the team right now, but he's not helping them.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not winning games, but he's not losing them games. I think if he starts losing them games, then we have a problem. So
I'm going to take the opposing view, and I'm going to say if he does not start getting his QB rating out of the toilet, Sean Payton's going to say, he's going to start throwing his dick around and say, Russ, you're out. And if you don't like it, pound sand. I'm going to give him 2 more games, and then we may see some big changes with old rusty nails.
Yeah.
First half Russ is great. Second half Russ is garbo. Yeah, it's because his head's not in the game. Anyway, Seattle.
Metcalf, if he's good and healthy, you're starting DK Metcalf. I think if Metcalf doesn't play or if he's like kind of still banged up, Tyler Lockett becomes a really nice play. That means Geno is kind of a nice play. He's got a lot of targets to throw to.
I like Geno in this
He's
game
just
a
a
lot.
talented. He looks good, man.
He is, yeah.
He's accurate. He's efficient.
He was bad week 1. He had rust.
Yeah.
Week 2, we're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I had him last year, and I was like, really serviceable quarterback. You're starting Kenneth Walker. It's a pretty juicy matchup again.
It is.
Really like that for Kenneth
is.
Walker. Everything else, I'm not really going to start JSN yet, just because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. He's been okay. I streamed him in one of my leagues, and he got me 8 points. Whatever. I mean, that's fine. I just don't really love it. Next up is Chicago, Kansas City.
Good gosh.
This, by all means, should be a blowout. This should be a blowout.
But the fact that we think that.
Right, is something scary,
It's
because
a trap
Kansas
game.
City has not been Kansas City yet.
No.
But I think you can roll out Fields. The Bears have, I don't know if you've been seeing the news, they have fully imploded this week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the stuff that Justin Fields was saying, he was like, I think it's coaching why I'm being bad.
Oh, my God.
That is, you can't say that. Second of all, their defensive coordinator is being investigated for child explicit images.
Look at this.
He had his house raided by the FBI.
Devin White. They ain't using you right, DJ Moore. Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. Defensive coordinator was raided by the FBI for some child stuff.
For cheese pizza?
Yeah, their GM just said he wants to step down. I mean, good Lord. That is an implosion.
Oh, my God.
Bad implosion.
So, yeah.
Screw the Bears. I hate them. Go Pack, go. I think you can roll out Fields, because I think he might just be in an F it game and just run around the whole game, which is fine. I mean, he can't throw, so if he's running, whatever, maybe he gets you 100 yards.
I cannot wait for Urinating Tree to make a Bears video. It's going to be absolutely
Shout out
awesome.
Urinating Tree.
Shout out Urinating Tree.
On Kansas City, you're starting Kelsey and you're starting Mahomes. If you have any questions about that, you should be playing fantasy football.
Chicago Bears. Tony says Chicago Bears organization doing their best Raiders impression this season.
Yeah.
Hey, you shut the hell up. You better.
I mean,
that's really mean.
yeah. And then finally for the Chiefs, I think if Pacheco is nice and healthy, which I think he might be, I think he practiced, they're going to get up so big, they're just going to start dumping it to Pacheco. It's like, run it 30 times, whatever. That's going to be a bad game. Speaking of another bad game, now this should be an even bigger blowout. I know they just lost Trevon Diggs, really sad. Doesn't really matter too much because Arizona's not going to do it anyways. You're starting CeeDee Lamb, you're starting Pollard, and I think you can start Dak Prescott. It's not a pretty start, but he shouldn't have any trouble throwing the ball.
CeeDee Lamb has been so good this year. He's been so good this year, and he will continue to be good against the Cardinals.
And if you've got Jake Ferguson maybe filling in, I don't hate it. I think you can try him out this week. I know he's not super pretty, but go ahead.
Yep.
And then Arizona,
I'm
not starting anybody.
I've got
James Conner.
I've got James Conner, just because that's who I've got.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who have him.
What do I do?
And if you have him, I think you don't really have the option to sit him.
Look
Yeah.
at my team.
I don't think you have the option to sit him. And anybody who drafted him doesn't have the option to sit him. But this might be the worst possible matchup for them.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be playing from behind, which means they're not going to be running the ball. And if they do run the ball, they're running into Lawrence and Micah Parsons.
And there's no one. There's no running backs that are available in our league that are good.
Yeah.
Cam Akers.
Nope. He's probably not going to play this weekend. Anyways,
there's no one.
do not start an Arizona Cardinal this
Zeke,
weekend.
what do I do?
Bad. Bad situation for them. Nobody. Literally nobody.
Oh, God. I have a feeling my girlfriend's husband's going to win this.
Okay. Pittsburgh and Raiders. Pittsburgh has looked a little bit revived.
This is going to be a street fight.
Yeah,
Raiders are going to win.
Maybe.
Raiders are going to win.
I think you can start George Pickens. He had some really nice catches last week, and this is a fun one.
He had a really big moon ball, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's super athletic.
But see, here's the thing: when you get those moon ball plays, that wide receiver core replays that over and over and over, and it's like a hype video. So they're going to be juiced and ready to go to lose to the Raiders.
Somebody asked, what are your thoughts on Cooks? I love Brandon Cooks as a player. However, he hasn't proved fantasy relevancy yet. So just hang on that. I mean, he might still be on the waiver wire. That's fine. Marquise Brown, flex if you have to. If you have to, I'm sorry. If you have to, go ahead. I think there are better plays this week. Back to this game. this is a fun one because if you watch Najee Harris the other night, he looks bad.
Yep.
He looks real bad.
Red alert.
It's clear they are not happy feeding him any kind of way. So that being said, if you watched Jalen Warren play last week, he was getting some catches. He had like some really nice runs after catches. They didn't give him a lot of handoffs, but if you're in a PPR league and your running back is catching all the balls, like,
There we go.
hell, I'm starting him. And Vegas has a really bad run defense. Sorry.
It's true.
It's true. So I think Jalen Warren could be a fun, sneaky start this week.
Max
I really
Crosby,
do.
great pass ruch.
Yep.
That's why the pass defense is going to be good, and that's why I think I'm very, very bearish on Pickens because these, I always forget the.
Kenny Pickett.
I just want to say Mason Rudolph, because that's who's forever ingrained in my mind. Kenny Pickett,
Yeah.
he's going to be scrambling for his life with Max Crosby running after him. So the running game is going to be great. Passing game is going to be shit. I think Pickens is not going to do well. Devontae Adams is always going to do good at all times, especially against Pittsburgh. And Josh Jacobs, I think, is just going to.
I don't. Somebody asked about Jacoby Myers. I know he had a great week 1. However, he got concussed, and apparently he's just not quite back to the who he used to be. So I kind of want to watch him one more week and just if he comes back and he has a great game, sorry, but I'm not going to play him yet. I just want to see it happen again. Steelers Twitter has turned on Najee. Yeah, because they should have. He looked bad. He just looks bad. He doesn't want to be there. No. Jalen Warren wants to be there, and you can tell.
Yep.
Next up, Tennessee versus Cleveland. We had a lot of people talking about Jerome Ford.
I'm excited for this game.
Me too.
I think it's going to be good, even though Tennessee is generally awful. I think it's going to be scrappy and it's going to be high scoring.
I think we see a lot of runs because both these teams kind of don't have great pass offensive, but they're both really heavy run teams. So I think we see a lot of runs. I really am excited to see Jerome Ford play. I think he's a good player.
Yep.
And he was getting touches with Nick Chubb. Like he had 15 week 1 and then another 16 or 17 week 2 and 100 plus yards. He looks good. Not a great matchup. Tennessee's pretty good on the ground.
They are.
But it's still exciting. I know a lot of you guys put all of your fab towards Jerome Ford. I don't hate that, but he's got a tough upcoming schedule. I mean, I think it's Tennessee, 49ers, and then like Ravens or somebody else. He's got a very, very tough 4 weeks ahead of them, and then their bye is coming soon. Henry's not practice this week.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, and Henry, if he's like remotely banged up, he just doesn't.
Yeah.
He just doesn't practice. I think he's going to be okay. I haven't heard anything like he's trending the wrong direction, but I also haven't heard anything like he's trending the right direction. Keep an eye on him. If he doesn't play, Tyjae Spears is an instant start.
Yeah, here's actually,
Instantly.
this is a photo I found of Derrick Henry in a back-to-tank. It looks like Luke Skywalker, but it's actually Derrick Henry. That's where he goes after every game.
Yep, they just juice
He's
him
more
up.
machine than man, but yeah, they put him in
really
a back-to-tank in Tennessee, in Nashville. It's actually fueled. The liquid is actually the leftover margaritas that all of the white chicks drink and spill out on their bachelorette parties.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yep.
Derrick Henry, if he plays, you play him. If he doesn't play, you're playing Tyjae Spears.
Yep.
Tyjae Spears looks mean out there, and he wants to be there, and you can tell. And they like him, so play him. And then the one of the other Browns, real quick. Let me just go back for one second.
Toe injuries are just for PR. Okay, it's not a toe injury.
We'll see. Keep an eye on it. And then Amari Cooper, I think he's going to be fine.
Did you go back?
I went back.
Okay.
Yeah. Amari Cooper, I think, will be fine. I know he was kind of questioning if he was going to play last Monday, but he played.
He played.
And he looked okay.
I knew he was going to play.
And now people are like, well, is he going to play this week? It's like, well, he played on Monday. Nothing's happened this week. He should play again.
Yeah.
If he plays again, you should start
Is
him.
it a Thursday game?
No, it's at 1 o'clock.
It's at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
Very good.
kind of a stinker.
That was a whole thing
might go
with
next
the NFL players, and you can't do a Monday and then a Thursday game. Yeah.
And then the Eagles and the Bucks.
This is going to be a good game.
I was just about to say that. I think this is going to be a sleeper game. I really do, man. I mean, Baker has been on fire.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Mike Evans has been on fire. Rashad White's looked pretty good. And then you got them going against the all-powerful Eagles.
This game is
it
on
could be a fun one, man.
ABC and ESPN Plus.
It's the early Monday Night Football game because now we're doing
7:15.
2 for some reason. But
Because they are running out of TV shows because of the Writers Guild strike.
interesting. Interesting. Nick's a writer.
They're
FYI,
going to start
so he
spreading
knows.
that, actually. They're going to start spreading the games out more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 Thursday night games. That'd be crazy.
They'll probably do Saturday games, too.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you, writers.
Yeah.
For Philadelphia, you're starting A.J. Brown. You're starting Devonta Smith. I think you can start DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Now, word of caution, that could burn you. For whatever reason, DeAndre Swift sometimes is amazing and sometimes is horrible, and they give him 2 carries, and everybody's mad. But he looked so good last week.
Yep.
I think you can roll him out again.
Especially against Tampa Bay, because
yeah.
they have a completely middle-of-the-road run defense.
Yep.
So I think you're pretty good with DeAndre Swift. I think the bust is super low, but his boom is super high. So, look.
We'll see.
Ride it, baby.
And you're starting Jalen Hurts.
You got it.
Yep, he's Jalen Hurts. For Tampa Bay, Mike Evans has been crazy. He's been old Mike Evans. It's been so nice to see.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin has been a little disappointing, but he's still fine. I think he's still a good flex. I think Hurts forces some more towards AJ this week. I do. I think based on his little drama queen reaction last week, I think he does start to feed AJ Brown more, which he should. AJ Brown is ridiculously talented.
Yep.
Anyways, Chris Godwin, slight flex play. I think he's okay to start. I think this could be a shootout. We'll see. Rashad White, I think another play. He's been decent. He hasn't had any whoa moments, but also he gets all the carries. I'm not worried about Sean Tucker. He's bad. Rashad White, decent start. And now here's the fun one.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
You starting Baker. The Eagles have a good defense.
They do.
But also, he looks hot right now.
It's Baker Mayfield time, okay? It's his time in the league.
I think if you are a Burrow owner, or maybe you only drafted Dak Prescott, or maybe you only you waited really long and you have a pretty bad QB, try Baker, man.
Baker Mayfield is the most exciting quarterback to watch in the NFL because he is the new Fitzpatrick. You never know what you're going to get. He's either going to be American Sniper out there just getting headshots left and right, or like the Kardashians and just sleeping on or sitting on the couch crying and eating bonbons. It's amazing. You never know what you're going to get. I think
I'm for him.
He's won the locker room. Everyone in Tampa Bay loves him. The receivers, they're doing handshakes, they're doing all this stuff. So when you've got that much good juju, especially going against a hard opponent like Philadelphia, it makes you a better football player.
It's the recipe. It's the recipe for some fun football. One more game, I believe. Yep. The Rams versus the Bengals. If Burrow is healthy, this could be a fun game. If not, it could be a very not fun game. Puka time. He's been fun. Man, he's been fun to watch. He looks like mini Cooper Kupp. Tutu Atwell also been decent. He wasn't great last week, but he wasn't bad last week. So I think if you roll him out again, great. Puka, I know, has been a little bit gimpy this week. I still think he plays. If he doesn't play, Tutu is an instant start, man. Throw him in there and have fun. And then Kyron Williams, who's the number 2 running back in the NFL right now.
Play him.
Yeah, wherever that came from. Playing him, Cincinnati's not a great defense, but they're not awful.
Yeah,
I think any of those guys will be fine. Not really going to start Higbee. Not going to start. I'm not going to start Matthew Stafford, and nobody else is even viable. For the Bengals, if Burrow plays, you're playing him. That's just what you do. You're still playing Jamar Chase. I know it's not been fun, but it's Jamar Chase. I don't need to tell you how good he is. You have to play him again. Same thing with T. Higgins. He had a great week last week. Run him back again. He's ridiculously talented.
Hate this.
Joe Mixon has not been fun, but also there's nobody else there, man. It's just Joe Mixon. And if the Bengals get up, which is possible.
Look at Joe's stat line. This is sad.
If the Bengals get up, which is possible, Joe Mixon, you just got to, 13 for 60 yards.
56 yards, 59 yards, 5 targets. Yeah. Screw this. He was going in the 5th round.
But their offense has been stalling. I think maybe they get it together.
This guy.
I know it's tough. It's tough, but you have to. You got